Hi, and welcome to another episode of Chatting with Sarah. I'm Sarah, and today I thought I would talk about ADHD and being diagnosed as an adult. So, before we get into it, if you want to make yourself a cup of tea or coffee, I've got mine, and we'll get going. I'll get into it. So, Monday just gone, I officially got diagnosed with ADHD. And as much as this wasn't a surprise, the nearer it got, the more anxious I got about the diagnosis. Especially, I'm 33 years of age. My life has been a struggle. It's been a lot through the years, but especially with school. That's where most of the hardship comes from. When I think of it, and I was really anxious, and there was a lot of emotions coming up with it. But then on the way to the assessment appointment, I kind of was thinking, this doesn't have to be a negative at all, whatever the outcome is of this, because I didn't obviously know at that stage what the outcome was going to be. So I kind of said to myself, no, if this does come back positive, or you get the diagnosis of ADHD, don't look at it as negative, look at it as positive. And that's what I did. I started to kind of think of everything I've achieved with not knowing that I've had it, and I kind of became proud. I've overcome so much to get to where I'd got to and everything like that. And yeah, I decided that it's not a negative thing. You can have, you like, by all means, if you're someone that's going through it, and yeah, and you was undiagnosed as a kid, and you had such a hard time in school, yeah, be pissed off, because they're the professionals, and they should be, to a degree, there should be some lookout for all this, and there's not. So what are they? What are they actually there? They're just there to read a book at the end of the day and try and get you to understand that. But I'm sorry, that doesn't work. And I don't think it ever did work, because everybody I know, and I'm talking down to the grandparents' generation as well, and they always used to say there was loads of people in their classes that couldn't learn out of the book, and they all got into trouble. And back then you got whipped, just because you didn't understand what was on the page. So do I think that the school system works? No. It definitely doesn't work for people like me, anyway. And I don't think it worked for many, many, many generations. I don't think it has worked. I think it's only just, and I'm in Ireland, so I know only now that they're starting to put units in and better help for dyslexics, autism. There's only autism units are only coming up in the last couple of years in skills. There was just basic help, and that wasn't helping any child. And then there was only special schools in Ireland, like really special schools. And while they're better than special schools, they don't need special schools. They need an in-between mainstream, because they can learn, but they're not that bad that they need a special school where they haven't the capacity to learn, or they just need that routine. No, we can learn. We just need that a different way. That's all it is. It's a different way. Like, I'm a visual learner. I'm better off if I can physically learn something than just sitting down reading a book. That does not work for me. And it doesn't work for a lot of people, whether or not they are, whatever well, I want to say disease, but whatever their problems are, even the smartest of people, it doesn't always work reading out of a book. And you're expected to learn what's on a book. And I don't think that really works. It hasn't worked for a very long time, and I think the system needs to change, especially now. There is so much more. I don't know whether it's open, where everybody's more open about it or what, but there does seem to be more autistic, ADHD, HP, Jesus. We're all looking for our PhD. But no, all ADHDers and autistic people are all we're looking for is to just learn in a different way, and it's just we're able to learn just like anybody else, just not just sitting in a classroom for 6 hours looking at a book. Yeah, okay, you change a book, but it's still a book at the end of the day. And that is especially in Ireland, I find, and in England it was a little bit different, I found, when I was in England, because I did up until year 6 in England of primary. So I did find there was more different style of learning sometimes, or whether that was just my experience, I don't know, but I found it was becoming more different, that they were adapting their learning for children that wasn't able to learn in the classroom, or wasn't able to sit in the classroom for 6 hours straight. Well, give or take the breaks, but from that 9 to 3 block. And so, as the appointment was, and I was approaching, and I was looking back over time, thinking, what, this could be highlighting. It was really highlighted back then at school. And while I was treated for dyslexia and everything like that, I was never treated for ADHD. That is very new to me, and I'm very I wouldn't say shocked, but it just wasn't a label or a box that I thought I would fit in. And in the last few days since having my diagnosis, I have realised I 100% fit in this box. And look, how I came about getting diagnosed, like, I was a bit of a naughty kid for a while at school, and then I don't know, I just kind of grew out of of having meltdowns at school. But I would still have outbursts here and there at school, but it just wasn't as bad from around age 9 onwards. It wasn't, I don't know, something just clicked, and I just didn't have these massive outbursts at school. But I struggled in school constantly, and I was always fidgety, and I was always sent out to classrooms for fidgeting or back chatting, or just all that kind of stuff, messing. But I wouldn't say I was the class clown either. I was just more of the class joker. Just trying to make everybody laugh kind of thing. But I knew I could fucking cat. But I knew I could learn, and I knew that I wasn't stupid. I just knew that I was different, and I was going to learn a different way. But I never thought I was stupid. So as I was getting nearer the appointment, and I was reflecting on the years, I kind of was like, hang on, how could this have been missed? It's right there. And school didn't have to be a struggle. It was a struggle. It really was a struggle. And especially when I came to Ireland, then there was nothing. Like, I remember I was taken out with a group. We was all taken out in a group of about 4 or 5 girls. I went to an all-girls school in Ireland. So we were taken out, And again, it was just books. It was just like, let's say he took us for maths. This teacher took us for maths. And again, it was like just open the book and do the sums that was on the book. And we were looking at him and saying, we know how to kind of do it, but like, if we can't do it, why are we here? Because he wasn't really teaching us any other way than he was teaching us actually in the classroom. Like, it was a pointless exercise to bring us out for this. It wasn't like he was bringing us out to say, oh, look, you can't do it this way, but you might be able to do it that way. That wasn't what was happening. So what happens then? A group of girls start messing and start doing everything. So then you're sort of punished then for messing in a class and everything like that. And it ended up just, I think we went 3 or 4 times, and that was it. It just wasn't working. It just wasn't what we needed at that time, like, to help us. So we all scraped on. We all scraped through our exams and everything like that. We all got, I mean, and this wasn't even in our exam year. This was a few years before our exams. They just wasn't equipped, or they just didn't want that in their school or something. I don't know. It just wasn't working for us. And then, but I did. I mean, I finished school. I did, and then I went on to college. I'm the only one in my family that actually did end up going on to college. Like, I went to an IT. I did courses beforehand. I've done 2 courses, and through that, then I went on to college. So I'm proud. I'm really proud that I did. Because then I also got diagnosed late in life with cystic fibrosis. So I've got 2 major things in life, and I have not been diagnosed at a young age to get help, to cope, to put strategies in place. I've got on. And one thing the psychologist was saying is that I was really resilient, and I was like, what? And she was like, no, you're super resilient. She said, you've come over, you've had so much in your life that you just get on with it, and you don't question it. You don't think it's just, right, what way do I go next? If I get a block here, it's like, well, how do I move around that block? How do I get through that block? Not block, there's the block, and sure, I'll give up altogether. No. And I was kind of like, resilient just wasn't a word that was said to me at all through really life. And then when she kind of said it, it kind of took me back. And then I, like everything, I Googled it. and I realised, yeah, I am actually. Jesus, she was right. How could she see it? Yeah, and I was just like, wow. And then she sent me on, like, when she did, like she diagnosed me then on Monday, or she gave me the results of it, I suppose. And she sent me on this leaflet, and through an email and everything, and everything that was on this, like, I've always thought I was always odd. I never really fit into anywhere. I have different values. I have pockets of empathy. Do you know, I can really put myself in people's shoes a lot. And I've always thought I was weird because of it. And then she sent me this through, and everything that I am was on this leaflet thing. And I was just like, for the first time ever in my life, I actually was like, oh, I belong here. I do belong here. This is me on a piece of paper, to a T, basically, to all my things. And I just couldn't believe it. It's kind of getting used to it. I'm still in a bit of shock or wow kind of mindset at the moment, and I'm just getting used to it. It's kind of crazy, you know, that I actually had this. and it's just like slot right in, and everything feels right with having the diagnosis now. It's like it explains a lot. Like it's not going to benefit me whatsoever having this diagnosis this late in life, because I'm not doing it. I don't go to college or anything, so it's not like I need things in place that particular way. But going forward, I suppose it'll help if I do go back and do anything or anything in future. It explains the way I am, and that's pretty cool. And how so like how I got there is that like people always tell me there's something wrong with me, but more in a jokey way, just like, oh god, you're weird, do you know, that kind of thing. And then no one mentioned ADHD until a couple of years ago, when I was just with a few friends and we were just bouncing off, oh, if you had anything, what would you have, and all that, and when it came to me, it was ADHD, and I felt a bit, what the fuck are you, what? Like, what are you missing? What am I missing that you're seeing? And I felt a bit, I won't say hurt, but it kind of was along those lines. I was just feeling a bit taken back, I suppose. Like, what am I expressing here that I can't see? So, like anything else, I googled that, and eventually I came across an online ADHD questionnaire. So I kind of did that, and it came up very high, and it said contact your local GP. So I didn't actually do that. I rang the crowd that I'd done the online test on, and I was like, look, I'm after doing your test. It says this, like, what do I do? And they were like, yeah, I would ring your GP and I would ask for a referral here and here, and when you get there, they'll tell you what to do and what's required. And I was like, oh wow, okay. So I did. I did all that. I met with the mental health team, and I then was told it would be like a year's wait, and I think I've been waiting around 18 months. But it kind of, once I got these, like, I'd done a couple of questionnaires, and I kind of got forgotten about for a while. They didn't know, there was nothing from them, it went radio silent, and I kind of gave up, and I was kind of happy with that, because I just kind of felt this wasn't going to benefit my life in any which way. So I kind of left it as well. I didn't really go chasing them. And then out of the blue, there, about 6 weeks ago, I got a call to say I could take an appointment, and I took the appointment. They sent out another questionnaire, and I did that, and then I think maybe 6 weeks after that, then I'm here. I got the diagnosis. So that's how that came about. So it kind of is what it is. I'm not hung on up on it too much. It kind of just answers stuff. But I was angry at first, like in the 6 weeks disappointment. The more I was thinking about it, especially I suppose in the last 2 weeks before the appointment, it kind of started to play on my mind a bit. I kind of started to overthink that, and then I was like, how did this happen? How did I fall through the cracks here? This is probably not what I've got. You know, I've probably wasted their time, and they're probably just gonna tell me to go away. You know, I'm just me. You know, and then no, I got the diagnosis, and it was just okay. But look what I've achieved. You know, look what I've done in spite of having it. It's the same with the cystic fibrosis. Like, I was 26 when I got diagnosed with that. I've been ill my whole life. Like, that was a big... I was more happy with that. But that actually is probably a bigger kick in the tits for not being diagnosed. Because I was really ill most of my childhood. And it was just constantly cycle of antibiotics and steroids for many, many years of my life. Whereas if I'd been diagnosed, I might have been on better drugs that might have helped quicker. I might have not been as sick for as long a period of times as I was, like 6 to 8 weeks at a time I was sick, when I was sick. Multiple times a year. Whereas, I know cystic fibrosis, you're constantly sick anyway, but I might have just been kicked. It might have just kicked it a lot with what they could have given me a bit quicker. But, you know, we're here. I'm better. I'm way better at the moment than I've been in years. But, you know, be proud of where I am. I could be worse. I could have completely other different diseases. I don't feel sorry for myself or anything like that. It is what it is. You know, you live life still. I can still go, I can still walk, I can still talk. But, you know, it could be worse. And it's way not worse. It's not worse. It's not bad at all to have what I've got. But it is part of me. And it makes me me. And it explains me. And I'm happy for that. I am. So, if anybody is going through anything as well, and they want help or just advice on how I did everything, you're more than welcome to reach out. I'll help you the best I can. I tell you what I done, how I did it. But one thing I say, it's not a scary process. You more overthink it. Like, I had to go in, it was a 2-hour appointment, say. First hour was just, obviously you have to go over your history and what brought you up to today, like brings you up to today, like childhood, traumas, whatever. And then on the second part is like a school environment that they kind of put you under. So like then they're asking you questions, you do puzzles, and there's no wrong or right, it's just how they're looking for how you're reacting and how are you, I suppose, do it, because our brains are wired differently to, say, a normal person. And they're just looking to see how we are, to, like, because we learn differently. I think some of the most richest men in the world have something, whether it's autism or ADHD. It's nothing to be ashamed of these days, especially these days. So I think I'll leave it there, and we'll catch you on the next one. And thanks for watching.